Good evening, everyone. This is your transformation coach, Cassie, and welcome to another episode of Couch Time with Cassie. First, I'd like to thank all my followers, subscribers, and everyone who has been supporting me as I go throughout this journey of bringing personal transformation to you all. We're going through this journey together, transforming our life, our love, our business, our careers, our everything. It's all about change and not some fly by night change. We're focusing on creating lasting change. Now, you may have noticed that I have been sharing more relationship related content lately. That just kind of what I've been feeling and experiencing in what I'm speaking to people about. So a lot of my content is comes from conversations I'm having with people, other content that I might be consuming, different things I'm seeing in the news, trends, everything that has to do with people. And right now, dating seems to be a big thing. So I kind of wanted to take the opportunity to participate and contribute to that whole situation. And I feel like situation is like the most appropriate phrase to use for it. So last week I shared a question in my story, and the question was about how long after you're starting to see signs that a new endeavor, a new romantic endeavor is not working out, how long before you let it go? Do you wait for a bunch of different signs? Do you wait for 3 or 4 red flags? And not even necessarily red flags. Do you keep going past various indications that it might not be working? How long before you actually let it go? And surprisingly, I find that most people, um, or many women, will actually push past those indications because you want to make it work. And it's not necessarily from a position of desperation, but I think a big part of that comes from things that you may hear. I know personally, I've always heard you don't give people a chance, or you wrote that person off too quick, but sometimes if you know, you know. And it's better to just kind of go with your instinct rather than, letting things drag out. Now you're emotionally invested, you're committed, you may have some kind of tie or contract, something that's kind of bonding you together. And you knew all along. And now it's even harder to let things go because now there's a connection, there's a commitment, you may know each other's families. And so for me, I think it's important to, one, follow your spirit. Your spirit will always let you know. I know there's usually like a battle between your brain, your heart, your spirit. Your spirit will let you know. That's usually the right way to go. And sometimes, honestly, it doesn't even have to be a major red flag or a red flag at all. It can be a simple indication that someone may not be right for you. So I'm going to share a little personal mini story time. So I was on a dating app, which will remain nameless, and I made a connection with this person. He was very handsome. Seemed to have his stuff together. And I was like, okay, this could be a real possibility. Now, anyone who knows me know that it's very hard for me to think that about somebody. I'm just super picky that way. But initially, it seems like this person is in a very limited sphere. For instance, when discussing the possibility of us, meeting up in person, it was just like, you need to come and see me here. So I'm just like, okay, we live pretty decent length away from each other. Let me recommend a halfway point. And it was just like, oh, I haven't been to that city in years. And I'm just like, it's about 45 minutes from where you are. How have you not been there in years? It's a very common place. I'm just like, let's just meet in New York City. Um, and then I asked, where do you frequent? And his answer was limited to 3 cities. His entire life is confined to 3 cities. And I instantly got a Sex and the City flashback. The episode, I think it was Miranda was dating that guy who had never left the island of Manhattan. And I couldn't help but think about how limiting this was. Um, Granted, if where you are is where you're comfortable, that's fine. But for me, it's not. I love exploring. I love traveling. I love going all over the world. I eventually want to travel America. I want to see all these things. So the fact that this person's life seemed to be limited to 3 cities that are right next to each other was for me an indication that this was not going to be a good fit. So that's so that was the end of that. Um, and that was just an example that it didn't need to be a red flag. And I'm not going in there it's like, maybe I can change him. No. Um, you can never successfully change another person. That change has to come from within that person. That's how you create lasting change. It has to come from within. And secondly, if you're entering a situation and your first indication is to start changing that person, that is not your person. That's just sort of a rule for me. Like, if the first thing I'm thinking of is I need to change this about you, then you're not it. So I didn't want to go down that rabbit hole. But as we continue on this journey of personal transformation, and right now we're focusing on transforming our love lives, I'll be sharing different stories, exercises, activities, events that may be coming up, and different ways that we can empower ourselves. And I say empower because that's exactly what we need. And it's not empowering yourself as in putting on armor against the opposite sex, because we're not trying to get into the battle. That's not what we're here for. No man bashing, no man hating, none of that. What we want to do is strategically position ourselves to date from a position of purpose and power, where you're dating with confidence, not out of desperation, not out of fear that you're getting old or you're going to die alone with cats or no one's ever going to want you or your expiration date or whatever other thing they tell us as women. But because you're dating because you're looking for someone who's complementary, who you can sew into and who can sew into you. This movie that I've watched when I was about 16 years old, it's one of my favorite movies. It's a very bad movie. One of the phrases one of the main characters says is, "I'm looking for someone who makes me better than I am alone." And that has always stuck with me. So as a woman, a modern, educated, established woman, we are looking for the person who's complementary to our lives, who makes us better than we are alone. And we've all heard the song, "I Can Do Bad All By Myself." If you've never heard it, listen to it, and you can always watch the movie. But we're looking for that complementary person, not someone to necessarily, take care of you or any of that other stuff. Someone who you can build and grow with. You can push them, they can push you. You can move forward together throughout the stages of your life. That comes from being settled in yourself, not settling, but being settled in yourself, in who you are, where you are, what you're looking for, where you're trying to go, and all that. So this is the journey that we're going on, and I hope you join me. And you will see the new hashtag I've created for this event. I'm very proud of myself. Um, Love without compromise. And it's not to be misunderstood. It's not about not compromising in relationships. It's about not compromising in your values, not compromising in your value of who you are and, what you feel about yourself and what it is that you feel you need to be happy within the context of the relationship or in whatever the situation may be. So I look forward to seeing you on the journey. I hope you join the Phoenix Tribe, and I will speak to you soon. Thanks again for joining me on the couch. Have a great evening. Bye bye.